What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Virzi Effect podcast show. My name is Paul Virzi. You guys listen to episode 491. I hope everybody is doing well. And I hope everybody is enjoying the beginning of spring. I don't know why I said that. It's always like a small pleasantry. Why do we have to have pleasantries at the beginning? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's fine and safe. I don't give a fuck if you like the spring or not. And you don't care or think that I care if you like the spring or not. It is a nice day, though, and it's going to be a nice week. So maybe that's why I said that. I want to start out the episode by just addressing something, and then we could move on from it. Some cool stuff to talk about. I want to thank every one of you guys who reached out to me about my cat, Thomas, who we had for 16 years. So many nice messages and so many people telling me that a lot of the things hit home. Okay. Unfortunately, the day after I did the last podcast, Thomas had to be put to sleep. It was a situation where I was in my house. I was monitoring my cat. I was watching him very closely. I didn't care that I spent a ton of money 2 days prior. I really didn't. And then a lot of money a week prior to that. You know, I spent thousands of dollars on the cat, but I just wanted to make sure, you know, this guy was in my life for 16 years. I bought him for my wife's 26-year birthday. My wife's 26th birthday. I bought him as a kitten. He was with us in, don't worry, I'm not going to get emotional because I've already went through all this. But he was with us through, now that I'm saying that, I'm thinking about it, I'm going to start fucking crying here. No, you know, he was with us when we had a small apartment. Then we bought our first condo. Then we got to the house with us before the kids were born. And just such a cool, big, beautiful cat. Like I mentioned before, he'd fucking take a robin out of the sky and bludgeon it to death. He dragged a chipmunk in our foyer just to show us. He killed a mouse every day, left it on the welcome mat to show us. I mean, the kid was a Hall of Famer. If this cat had a baseball card, he's in the Cat Hall of Fame. He lived over 16 years, but I watched him closely. He did not eat for a week. He was withering away. He was just not. The good thing is I found out that he was not in pain, but he was just not comfortable. He wasn't himself. He was going to spots of the house. He was looking for solitude. He was dying and he knew it. And he wanted to go out with pride, like the fucking little lion that he was. So I watched him and I said, if he's like this tomorrow, we just can't do this to the cat. You know, he wasn't like, a lot of times though, I did read, you know, do your research. If you're reading this, this is funny. This is a comedy podcast and I'm starting out so fucking somber. You're probably sitting there waiting to laugh, and don't worry. We'll get to it. We'll get to the shit. But, you know, he was just not crying. Or I read online that if you have a pet, especially a cat, when they're in pain, there's a lot of crying and yelping, you know, certain things like that. He didn't have that. What he did was he just looked restless, not fully comfortable. He couldn't get comfortable, and he was just not eating. He would barely drink. I watched him walk. He would walk like 5 feet and then plop down. He was laboring to breathe. And I said, I can't think about this during the night anymore. I didn't know if he would make it through the night. And he did. He was okay the next day, but he just would sit there and not eat. And then I noticed him laboring to breathe a little bit. That was the first sign. And then he started to meow, a little outburst meows. And I said, that's it. He's going. And 2 hours later, he was taken out of that. The hospital was incredible. They came out to the car. We talked. I said, you got to tell me right now, if this was your cat, would you do this? You got to tell me. And I knew the lady for years from our old vet. She left there and went to this new place. And she's like, I hate when people ask me that question, but she's like, his heart is failing. There's fluid around his lungs and his heart. He's not in pain, but he's dying. And he's and I'm like, well, I'm glad he's not in pain. But she's like, if it was my cat, I would put the cat to sleep. And I'm not going to lie, man. I did it. He was in my arms. I'll just say this and then I'm going to leave this alone. When a cat gets put, I've never been through this before. Okay. When a cat or an animal gets put down, there's 3 shots they get. They get a sedation, then the anesthesia, and then the final one. She said, do you want to hold him during it? She said, usually that's more for the owners than it is the animal. I said, yeah, I'm going to hold him. I said, but do me a favor. I said, I don't want to be here for the 3rd shot. So I said, so when he goes to sleep with the 2nd shot and I know that he's still alive, can I walk out then? And she said, yeah. So I'm holding him. He gets the sedation. He gets the anesthesia. And he just had his head here and his arm hanging over me. I held him. We made him really comfortable, scratched his neck. And then he went to sleep like he was going to surgery. And then I put him on a blanket and I walked out. I didn't fucking pay. I didn't even get his cat cab, the thing that we brought him in. I just walked out, tears in my eyes. And I just dealt with it. And we swallowed hard and we cried. And, I had that stupid shit where I just tear up, where I can't fully let out a cry, So that was it, man. I wasn't going to let that beautiful animal suffer. She said something really cool to me. She goes, you got over 2 years more than you should have out of this cat. We did the right thing. And, you got to just accept, I guess, nothing's forever. And what was he going to get to? Suffer with a bad heart? He wouldn't have even saw, he would have died he would have died at home. And I wasn't going to allow that to happen. So, that's it, man. We still have his brother, Stanley. They're real brothers. So Stanley's old too. So we're just making sure he's all right and dealing with that. But, it's almost like a double-edged sword. When you're a good pet owner and you take care of them and you get them old, you're going to have to deal with this. But I want to thank all the vet techs who reached out to me, people that listen to this. All of the things that you said were right and correct. I was nice to know that I did it the right day, the right time. I was really happy about that. I wanted to just make sure, because when shit like that happens, you're like, yo, am I doing this at the right time? But I watched him, and the day that we decided to do this, he was laboring to breathe. You could hear it. He was like it was a struggle for him. And he started to meow a couple times, which means I think if I would have kept him around another day, he would have started to be in pain and really struggle. I think the timing was perfect. So there you have it, man. I'm not going to talk about this ever again, but I just want to thank everybody, and I will leave it there. I wasn't going to talk about it, but too many people wrote to me and was like, hey, man, I hope everything is good. So I just wanted to tell you guys, and then I went to the city. I went to New York City. I went to the Stand last weekend, and I had to perform, and it actually felt good to be up there and tell jokes. And shout out to all the people that came out, coming back to comedy. Comedy's coming back. I think, Dave Chappelle showed up to the Stand last night or 2 nights ago. Andrew Yang, the guy running for mayor, politician, he showed up and saying how comedy's coming back. So it was nice to be in New York City on a weekend, hanging out, smoking a stick out front. So shout out to everybody that came back to the Stand and who came out to see not just me, but comedy. It was cool to see a comedy club start to have fans come back for the reason that they came, not just because it's a pandemic and we could eat there and there's all this. It was like they were there not to get food before curfew. They were there to laugh. And it was really cool. It felt really, really good. Granted, it's only 33% capacity, but you know what? It's obviously the right direction. And I got to tell you, man, there is nothing like, I've always said this. New York City may have some sensitive crowds now with everything going on and all that shit, but there truly is nothing like doing stand-up in the greatest city in the world, where the best comedians in the world are, in my opinion. It was a really cool thing. And it felt somewhat normal. And to just kind of have like, guys, if you know me and you listen to the show, I'm not that dude that's gonna fucking like be a part of I said this on Jim and Sam on Serious. I'm not going to the comedy basketball game. I'm not going to play poker with comedians. I'm a I'm a family guy, man. I do my shit. I come up home to the country and that's what I do. But I will say the camaraderie and seeing some people that I haven't seen in a long time and just being like, hey man, how you been? How's your family? Is everybody safe? And I'm glad you got through all this shit and things are going well. Felt good. It definitely felt good because at the end of the day, even though we obviously have our own lives and stuff like that, when you do what we do and everybody has, the pandemic made everybody was the same, right? That's what the one thing that the pandemic did. The pandemic was like, whether you have $30 million or you have $30, you're dealing with this shit. You need to wear a mask. You need to be careful. You need to protect yourself and other people. You need to do all the things everybody was like isolated and doing that. And then to finally go out and talk to your peers, it was a pretty cool thing. I felt that. So, but anyway, let's talk about some fun stuff, and let's get this episode 291 going here on a positive note. Not that shit wasn't positive, but I don't want to, bring people bring people down. Be like, hey guys, how's everybody doing? Yeah, listen, I just hit a deer and I scraped its head off the ground. Kind of shitty, man. There was blood everywhere. And then I saw its family members in the woods looking, crying, and stomping on the ground. I hope everybody's doing good. We're going to have a good show. We're going to have a good show. But no, man, it's nice to be doing the Virzi Effect solo again. I was going to have a guest. Don't get me wrong, man. I don't know what you guys want, though. Don't get me wrong. I love doing it alone, and I love doing it with a guest. We're supposed to have a couple of big guests coming up. Oh, I got a couple of big ones coming up. But today I was just like, you know what? Had a shitty week last week. This week is looking a little better. I got issues with my fucking neck and my arm. I got this brace on my fucking hand because I don't know if this is from nerve damage from my neck. All kinds of shit going on. Feeling a little better today, but it's been a rough fucking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn on the mic and the camera and do my shit alone. I'm just going to do it alone. Okay. What's going on in the news? The Johnson & Johnson thing. There's like I said, if there was a car, there'd be a recall, and people freaked out. It's only 6, Paul. I'm joking. I'm fucking joking. You fucking lunatics. No, not really, because they would never. I'm like, all right, it's my fault. I should have done it, because you got to realize people are going to be literal. People are going to just be. And then there's an unfortunate shooting in Minnesota where a police officer said it was an accidental discharge, killing a 20-year-old. It's brutal, man. It's like right when it seems like, I don't know what's happening to this podcast. It's just steering back to negative. My dead cat. And there was another shooting. No, but it really sucks that, right when things it seems like there's starting to be some normalcy. And then all of a sudden now there's protests and riots again. And it's like, can we just have a fucking, like 4 or 5 months of just everybody happy and together? Can we have that? Can we just have a little grace period here? We don't have to talk about who the president is or politics. We don't have to talk about what you think about, anything. Police officers, protests, riots, let's talk about vaccine is coming. People are getting better. We don't got to talk about the shit. Comedy's coming back. People are going to be safer now. We're moving in the right direction. And then can we just have that? It's like, I just don't understand this shit, man. It just keeps going and going. I just want a fucking grace period where nothing. How about that? Haven't we been through enough shit? It is true. If there is a higher power, which I believe there is, can it just go, all right, man, let's fucking, it's time to just, sit down, drink, eat, smoke some sticks, and enjoy ourselves for a good fucking year. That's what we need. We need a good year run. I'm going to do an unacceptable now that I'm really pissed off about. Okay. I'm going to do an unacceptable that I'm really pissed off about. Now, it does involve pets and stuff, but I already said my piece with my beautiful cat, Thomas. Rest his beautiful feline soul. But here's my unacceptable. There are vets out there, okay? There are vets out there that know your animal is dying and sick that will say, well, you can do this. Well, you can do that. I don't give a shit about money, okay? I don't care if I love something, and I've said this before, I'll give the money. If you tell me I got to clip his fucking nails and it's $500, but it's going to give him another 3 months on his life, clip his nails for $500. Okay. I don't care about that. But what's really bullshit and what's really shitty is when they prey upon your love of your pet. They prey upon the fact that you love this thing and you're willing to pay that money. So I'm going to give every option I can, okay, to get some money. I think it's despicable. I think that a lot of times they know what they're doing. And because you love the animal and you're going to say some shit like, well, is there anything we can do? Of course, there's something we could do. You could prop him up with a fucking stick and duct tape him to the wall until he fucking dies. And that's going to get you another 4 days. Of course, there's something you can do. The question is, these people need to say, look, man, this is what it is. This is what it is. Okay. They like to take a little bit of your last money. And I'm not bitter here, but I'm just going to be honest and say what it is. They like to take a little bit of your last money in a last ditch effort so you can say you did everything, but they know it's not going to work. I believe that, unfortunately. So that's unacceptable. Okay. That's unacceptable. So you're going to have to do your own research. You're going to have to really watch your animal, and you're going to do that. But it is unacceptable for anybody that's in that business to do some of the shit that I saw. Again, I can't, there's things that I would like to say. I'm not trying to ruin somebody's business. I'm not trying to shit on somebody. I could, believe me, I can make a certain place right now really hurt if I wanted to. But I know that there's employees there, and I know that there's a lot of people there that love animals. But I also know some shitty things were done. And I also know that certain things, when you prey upon people's emotions during that time and to take money, it's unacceptable. All right. Because I'll fucking steal every animal in that fucking place. I'll just fucking let them all out. How about that? Then you guys got to start from scratch. Don't get me started. Okay. I'll start running out with fucking cats under my arm like it's a football. All right. I'll let every dog in the neighborhood just go fucking run rampant. So now these assholes got to go find the dogs and then take care. I'll fucking take care of the dogs at my house. How about that? Now that got me started. I'm sorry. I'll fucking kill that guy's cat. No, I'm kidding. That was too far. I'm not going to kill a cat. I'm totally joking. That's the Sicilian that comes out sometimes where it's just completely unnecessary. It's completely, why would I kill someone's cat because of mine? We were actually joking though. On the night that we had to do what we had to do. So we're going to go out to dinner as a family. We're going to celebrate the cat. And we're driving, and this is 100% true. We're driving to this place to go eat together as a family, and we're all kind of hurting. And as we're driving, a squirrel just runs right in front of my car, and I step on the brakes, and I don't kill it. I came real close, and it got away. And then the icebreaker was, I just looked at my wife. Everyone was like, whoa, what just happened? I just looked at my wife, and I go, how funny would it be if I just ran over the neighbor's cat and killed it while we came home after what happened to our cat? And we, and we just bursted out laughing. It was one of those things when your emotions are weird and your emotions are a certain way that you just say something and you need to laugh, and it was the icebreaker. Like, we come home, I got tears in my eyes. There's a song that comes on and you're like, this is the moment. This is amazing. And all of a sudden you're like, you're thinking about it. And then you just make a turn and you just kill the neighbor's cat in front of it. And you just put the window down. I know how you feel. No, we just went through it. Let's, all right. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was really funny though, because sometimes you just have to break the ice, right? When everybody's feeling like crap, you just do something. But listen, I feel like this: if you're a mechanic and you're a little shady on labor and parts because you know the person needs the car, even though that's shitty and unacceptable, which it is, really shitty and unacceptable, but even though that's shitty and unacceptable, you're kind of like, I got people to pay. Like and listen, again, I can't even justify, I'm trying to justify it, and it's so shitty to do to somebody, but it's not preying on the emotions of your love for something that's dying. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I need my fucking Chevy Impala back because I can't go to work without it. I need my Lexus to be fixed. And I know that you're screwing me by $130 here. Or it's like, you're looking for a pair of Jordans and there's a place like Flight Club that sells the Jordans, and you know you're spending $100 more, but if you really want them, that's what you're going to do. But when it comes to something that you love, when it comes to a pet, do you know what I mean? When it comes to like and your emotion and you're down and they're like, well, we could do this. We could do this. We could fucking stick an oxygen tube up his ass or in his nose for a little while and see if that'll give him another 24 hours. It made me learn that, like, I would really, if I was a vet, I would be, now that I know that business, or at least seeing what happens when you go through that, because they deal with what I went through with my cat every day with dogs and everything like that. I know how I would be with it, and I'd probably lose money. So that's my unacceptable, preying on people's things, because I think some shit happened. Again, listen, people need to make a living, but not that way. I'd rather steal. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather steal or sell drugs. I would rather steal or sell drugs and be known as that, right? If they were like, yeah, man, he got arrested. What did he do? He stole, he had cocaine and he stole to get some drugs or something. I'd rather be known as that than like, yo, he took like $800. They knew the pet was going to die, and they took $800 just to say they could do something, and the animal is got. That's a worse, for me, that's worse. Yeah, guys, I don't know why I'm getting hot on this. Episode, but let's talk about comedy again. Let's talk about where I'm going to be traveling, some shows that I got going on here. I got Texas. Is anybody here from Texas? Speaking of Texas, and I don't know why Texas is reminding me of this, but I'm getting a four-wheeler, I think. Should I say this? I'm going to say this. I'm looking for a new car, right? And I went to go buy a car, to look at a car, okay? Because my car was doing this thing where the brakes and the rotor were scratching, and it sounded like I was dragging metal, even when I was accelerating, which started freaking me out. And I'm like, man, my car is, my car's not old, but my car's getting older. It's a Lexus ES 350, and it's getting older, but not too old. Like, I think it's got another 3-4 years in it. Good. If I want, right. Got some miles on it, all highway, nice car. And I'm like, should I put in another, 1,000 in this thing or 2,000 in this thing, with rotors and tires and brakes? Or should I just go and get something new right now? But I'm like, I'm not going to be driving a lot. The pandemic is not fully over. you know, places are only 33%. I'm going to be flying a lot, going on the road. Do I need to do that? And then I went on some test drives, and I got to tell you, some of these cars, they fucking half-assed it. I don't know if these places are saying, hey, we're going to have electric cars soon, so let's just make it look nice on the outside. But I was disappointed in some of these test drives. I'm not going to say the make or the model or which car. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, but let's just say that some really nice cars and expensive cars are phoning it in, like struggling up a hill, like I'm in a fucking 99 Hyundai, just struggling. My wife's calling right now. Let me see. I'm going to see if she's mad because she was on the phone before and I made some noise. Hold on. I'll let you go. Hello?
What are you doing?
I'm doing my podcast. Everything all right?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know where you were. Okay, sorry.
Okay. No worries. Bye. Oof, that was good. Anytime the general calls, I call my wife the general. So anyways, some of these cars are shitty, man. Like these cars are just, I think here's my thought. I could be wrong, you know, but you know, now that it happened with my cat, I'm starting to question everything now. I'm one of those, but here's my philosophy. You tell me if I'm wrong or not. I think since the pandemic and all these places lost money, right? Nobody's buying cars. People are locked down for months and months, almost a year. I think some corners are being cut, right? Hear me out. I think some corners are being cut, taking a little things back, saving a little bit of money as people come back. I think people are waiting for the electric cars to come out. So I think their staple cars, they're still making good. But I think the line of cars underneath or you know, even above, like when I say the staple, you know, they got to keep that the same. McDonald's isn't going to ever fuck with the Big Mac. Burger King is never going to fuck with the Whopper. But you can start fucking around with the other things. You can start messing around with the nuggets, make the toys a little cheaper, right? In the Happy Meal. You can make, you know, all these little corners you could cut while the staples are still there and thinking that people aren't noticing. That's what I think is happening. I think these places are like, hey, man, we took a big hit. Let's just make the model, the 2021 model. We're going to make it look nice and say there's a couple of new options. Engine wise, we're going to fucking pull back a little bit. Don't worry about it. Electric's coming soon anyway. That's what I think is happening. Am I wrong? I don't know. I definitely could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think I'm actually sharp, guys. But I was really disappointed. So I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to get my car. I think I'm going to put on some new brakes, new tires, get her polished up, shine her shoes, get her all ready for the ball and keep it for another year. Just drive it for another year. Take it easy with it. Don't put too many miles. And then as things start to get better, then we'll look for a new one. That's my, and normally you guys know that's not me. I'll go buy a Porsche when I can't afford. I mean, I'll go buy an electric Porsche right now that I can't afford. I don't give a fuck. I'll go to the bank, take out a loan. I have no intention of paying back and get a fucking Porsche that I can't afford and drive it around with a smile on my face. But this time I'm not going to do that. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the Virzi Effect and sign up, subscribe, whatever they say, to the Virzi Effect on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere and anywhere that you get your podcast. Thank you guys so much for making the Virzi Effect grow. So many new listeners, so many people are listening to this. And also the Anything Better podcast with myself and Bill Burr. That podcast is going great too. And so many people have gone to my YouTube channel watching stand-up clips. More clips are coming. You're going to get another stand-up clip this week. Also, there's going to be more clips of the Virzi Effect and Anything Better. And guys, I know I said it before, but a big announcement on my next special is coming. I found out last week it's close. That's what sucks about this business is you just don't know. You just answer the phone and you get told things from your agent and your manager that is not in control. I wish that it was, but it's not. It was a wild year. You're waiting for things. All these people are waiting too because of the pandemic, but we got some really cool shit coming. I cannot wait for you guys to hear some of the new material and see this new hour. But I can't thank you guys enough for listening to the show. And like I said, we're gonna have some guests on. I'm trying to do a very, very big one in 2 months for my 500th, and I think we got that locked down. That's going to be a monster Virzi effect for 500. I also think I'm going to be coming out to Los Angeles to do some more podcasts out there. I don't know about shows, maybe jump on a show or two if there's a cool one out there to do, but I'm going to be doing podcasts and stuff. And I will be doing, obviously, stand up on the road and in New York. So there you have it. And it's so cool when you go on the road and you see somebody that listens to the podcast and they're just, telling you shit and telling you stories and stuff. And I had this one guy, this one guy just wrote me this, like, it's funny because here's a cool thing, like again, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but when you have a fan write you because you say something that touched them, but then they start pouring in some hard shit. Like you'll say something on the podcast that touches somebody, and I love that. But then they'll be like, "Oh man, thank you so much for saying that." And then I listen, I'll read. By the way, I try to, not that I'm something crazy famous and I get thousands and thousands of people writing me, but I get a lot of people writing me now, and I'll read them all. I will read them all. And when somebody goes really detailed, it's like, I like it, but sometimes people say heartbreaking shit. You're like, shit, man, I didn't want you to rehash that. Like, I'm glad that you related to what I was talking about and I touched you in a way, but I didn't want you to, some people will write this whole long thing and I'm just sitting there. One guy wrote something and I just said to Stacy, my wife, I was like, babe, read this. And she was just like it's heartfelt and I enjoy it, but I also don't want people to, to relive things. One thing that I wanted to do on 291 today too was talk about, and I know that I tweeted about DMX, rest in peace, DMX. But I hated when everybody, even the night before they announced that he had passed, everybody's like talking about him, talking about that he passed, not knowing, completely disrespectful and just fucking plain gross. Just gross to like be one of the first ones to talk about it for followers. I've said this before, guys, as much as I love what I do in this business, I love stand-up comedy. I love being a comedian. I love doing my podcast. I love talking to you guys and all that. But our business is filled with some really gross, attention-seeking fucking people. Really gross lack of something that their parents didn't do. And these people will slit their mother's throats to get 10,000 more followers. All right. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not shitting on anybody, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to, capitalize on a big pop culture story of somebody that did something great and then died. Like, I don't want to do that. I even said, I go, can't wait to hear everybody's podcasts about that time DMX nodded his head at them at a gas station. And now all of a sudden they're writing this big thing about the moment that they had. You didn't have a moment. You were at a gas station with the fucking guy and you went, oh shit, that's DMX. Give me a break. So I don't like that shit. I don't like that people make all these things about them. And then people will say things like, oh, well, it's show business. And I get that. I get that it's show business, but like, to me, that's gross. I didn't get in this business to be like, oh, I'm going to capitalize on it. I'm going to go and do this. And when this happens, I'm going to go and do a man on the street thing about it. And I'm not knocking that. If that's what some people want to do, I'm in this business to do stand-up comedy and to talk shit on my podcast with my fans and have a good time. I will say this about DMX. He was the first person that made me think being from Yonkers and being born in Yonkers was cool. I don't know if he was born in Yonkers. I think he might have been born in Baltimore, but he was basically raised and grew up in Yonkers, New York, which is the first city, which is the first non-borough of New York City. So it goes Bronx, and then after you're in the Bronx, it goes Yonkers, and that starts Westchester County. And Lady Gaga was in Yonkers for a while. The Lox, I don't know if you guys know Jada Kiss and the Lox, and who else? There was some other people, but DMX was from Yonkers, and I remember he was like the first person that I was like, oh, being from Yonkers is cool. I was born in Yonkers. And his energy, man. Like I remember one time I saw, I think I saw a show in Albany, New York at SUNY Albany College, and it was Jay-Z, but I want to say DMX was on it too, and DMX killed and had a lot of energy. And what I really love about DMX, though, what I thought is awesome about the guy was he would walk the streets alone with no security at the height of his fame. Like when he was like the fucking guy, he would just walk down the street alone. People come up to him, he would just talk to him. And I always thought that was cool. He's basically the opposite of all of this attention seeking shit, which is so ironic, you know. But I get it that people want to do that, but it's just I think it's such a character flaw. And I think it's really sad. I think it's really sad when people do shit like that. And people say, oh, Paul, you're a hypocrite. You get on stage and tell jokes. Yeah, but that's my talent. That's what I do. You know, that's what I do. I'm going to get on stage this is what I want to do. Yeah. Is there some deep rooted thing for attention? I don't know. I had issues at home with, you know, my parents separating and shit. So maybe there is a thing where, yes, the attention or the feeling, but it's also a talent. And I'm also getting better at something that I love and something that I dreamed of. That's different than like, you know, capitalizing on some fucking Joe Bartnick. Shout out to Joe Bartnick. Joe Bartnick's going to be back on the Virzi Effect one of these episodes, but he said one of the greatest things on Twitter. I think I mentioned it before. When Robin Williams died, rest his soul, the year anniversary of Robin Williams' death, Joe Bartnick goes, it's been 1 year since all you comedians have made Robin Williams' death about you. And it's so true. Oh shit, am I running out of battery here? Of course I am. I got to plug this shit in. Guys, I don't know. I just plug it in right here. There we go. And just like that, we're back. Yeah, I feel like I'm in this, like, if I'm being honest, I'm kind of in this like transition in my career where, you know, I don't give a fuck about all the silly shit. I just want to go on stage and do my material and have a great time doing that and just say what I believe now. It's like this thing where not that I never said what I believe, but just like saying whatever, like just saying whatever and being honest and not giving a shit about the small, stupid, silly shit. You know, I don't want to go and do somebody's podcast that I'm not friends with, but there's a lot of listeners. So I'm going to get, does that make sense? And people are like, oh, that's stupid, man. What are you talking about? You got to get, it's like, no, I'll do podcasts with my friends. I'll do shit with but I'm not doing dumb shit anymore. I'm not just going to do shit to do it. That's where I'm at, man. So, I'm in this transition right now, this transition phase of my career where I just want to, be the realist, honest me, have a good time on stage, get better at doing what I love to do. And not dealing with like silly shit that I used to sweat or worry about. You got to understand something, man. We're in this business. You'd worry about, is that booker going to like me? Is that owner I hope that owner likes me. I hope I have a good set. It's like these people never even did what I did. We think about that. We're worried about people that never lived in our shoes. People that are I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I hope I get that spot at midnight on Monday or Tuesday. Fuck out of here. I'm being with you don't want to be Monday, Tuesday. I'm being with my family, eating dinner, putting my kids to sleep. That's what I'm going to be. Okay. I'm going to do this shit on my terms. Oh, guys, I'm fired up. I don't know. My cat died and no. So that's where I'm at. Come out and see me. I promise you guys, if you liked, I'll say this. And if you liked Night at the Stand, my first 2 hours, Night at the Stand was my album in 2015. I'll Say This was my special that released in 2018. If you like those, I assure you what I'm doing now is the best stuff that I've ever done. That much I can promise you. And all the new fans and everybody that's kind of reached out to me, and everybody that is new fans and old fans, I really appreciate it, you know. So you're not going to see me doing some wild shit. I'm not going to fucking box a celebrity to get on. I'm just going to do what I do and what I've been doing. Uh, but yeah, I'm not and listen, I'm not knocking that. Like, I'm not knocking anybody that does anything. I'm just saying what I'm going to do. And if you want to come and see me and you want to see my new hour, and I can't even thank the people in Oklahoma City, man. It's so great. Such a great time. But if you want to come and see me, guys, Texas, Addison, I will be at the Addison Improv in Texas, right outside of Dallas, on April 22nd to the 24th. Okay, tickets are on sale, obviously, at the Addison Improv's website, but also paulvirzi.com. If you go to paulvirzi.com, you'll get all of the dates where I'm going to be. On May 20th through the 23rd, I will be in Tampa, Florida, Side Splitters, May 20th through the 23rd, doing a bunch of shows. And guess what? Joe Bartnick is coming with me. It is going to be debauchery. It is going to be on. I'm telling you right now, get those tickets in Tampa, get those tickets in Addison, Texas. I had a great time last time I was at the Addison Improv. Things are opening up. I'm doing a new hour from anything that you guys have pretty much seen online. This is going to be my next special for the most part. So definitely come out to those shows. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And like I said, I'm going to have some guests coming on. Before I get out of here, I'm thinking about seeing, what movie did I want to see? I saw Bad Trip with Eric Andre, and I worked with him once, and I really laughed hard at that. I laughed really, really hard at like 3 or 4 parts of that. But how about the New York Knicks? How about my New York Knicks? I'm going to talk about this more on Anything Better with Burr, because that's our sports podcast. But the Knicks are coming. So now I got shit to do at night when I'm not doing anything. I got the Knicks. I got, watch a little bit of Yankees baseball, go down to the city and do some spots. 33% of the comedy clubs are open. Life is coming back, everybody. And I guess I'll close out the show by saying, if you do have, and I hope you're not, and I don't mean to rehash anything bad, but if you do have a pet that's sick, or you think you might be where I'm at with a pet, I can tell you this and take this advice from me. It was the first time I ever did it, but I learned. Go with your gut and go with what you see your animal going through. Read about it. Their expressions on their face. If they're not eating and drinking, if they're miserable or just not comfortable, and so much time is going by, and it's just not, they're just not happy anymore, and they have no quality of life. All of those things. Yes, talk to the vet, and I hope you have a good vet that you trust, but just look at all of those things and just know ultimately that if you do all those things properly, you're making the right decision for the animal. And it still bugs me, as you guys can tell. It still bugs me. I'm still going, could I have done something to reverse this and make him get another 6 months to a year? I'm still doing that stupid shit. I'm like, I wanted to turn around after I dropped him off and just break through the window and just take him out of there. But then what? Then he's still sick. So do all those things, and just you're going to ultimately do the right thing anyway. So we live on. We live to fight another day. We do another podcast. We do another show. And that's what's up. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Next week, I will have a guest on the show. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 291 of the Virzi Effect. Please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. All the new listeners, all the old listeners. And I hope to see you guys in Texas at a show. Go to paulvirzi.com. Check out all of the shit that I just mentioned before. I hope it's not annoying that I keep saying it, but I've been for so long, I haven't said it. I would literally go on Sirius XM or all these places and they would go, hey, do you have anything to plug? And I wouldn't plug my own podcast. I would be like, I'm going to be in fucking Cincinnati at a strip mall telling dick jokes. And I wouldn't say go to the Virzi Effect. So, there you go. Oh, by the way, I smoked a cigar called Ave Maria. Holy shit. Either Ave Maria or Ave Maria, AVA Maria. And it was awesome. All right. So if you want to sit home, chill out, tomorrow's going to be a nice day on the East Coast, sit on your deck and you want to spark a nice stick, check that one out. I'm Paul Virzi. I will see you guys next week on TVE with the guest. If you guys have guests that you have in mind that you'd like me to have on, definitely hit me up and let me know. Until then, I am out of here. I will talk to you guys soon.